if you grew up around anger, then you internalized fear, you know. Growing up in an environment where anger was a dominant expression, whether through yelling, punishment, or even silent treatment, then it conditions a child to associate emotions with danger. You're not just learning about people, you are learning about survival. Now, anger in your nervous system becomes a signal that you've done something wrong, even if you haven't. You begin to walk on eggshells, you become hypervigilant, you develop a fear, not just of anger, but of disapproval, a fear of conflict, and even being a disappointment. Now, as an adult, this conditioning shows up in very subtle but powerful ways. 1, you over-explain yourself to avoid being misunderstood. 2, you constantly apologize, even when you're not wrong. You avoid speaking your needs in fear of upsetting someone. Number 4, you feel anxious when someone is quiet or slightly off. Number 5, you read neutral feedback as personal failure. Number 6, you freeze when someone is upset. You know, you feel like a child again, afraid to be scolded. This isn't immaturity. It's emotional residue from living in a space where love was unstable and anger was unpredictable. You know, you now internalize the belief that I must be careful or I'll be hurt. In those early years, your nervous system, it learned that safety depends on managing other people's emotions. If someone's angry, it must be because I did something. If I stay small, agreeable, and non-confrontational, then I'll avoid conflict. So even as an adult, you feel like you're always about to get in trouble, either with your boss, your partner, your friends, or even strangers. You know, it's not logical, it's emotional muscle memory. This fear doesn't just affect your relationships, it limits your expression because you second guess your creativity, you hold back your truth in difficult conversations, you minimize your wins to avoid seeming proud, you prioritize peacekeeping over truth speaking, and worse, you may stay in toxic situations not because you don't know, like they are unhealthy, but because standing up for yourself feels dangerous. You have to understand healing begins with emotional reparenting. You know, when you grow up in chaos, peace feels unfamiliar and anger feels like a threat. But you're not that child anymore. You don't have to perform for love. You don't have to shrink for safety. You know, you don't have to fear trouble when you've done nothing wrong. Healing is remembering. You're remembering that you are allowed to exist fully, even when others are uncomfortable. My people, heal. Heal.